This week, we are back in the 808 on the island of Oahu with a Hawaii Rainbow legend, husband, father, and soon-to-be card-carrying professional bodybuilder, our guy, Chad Owens Sr.
Fantasy football drafts are in full effect, DK. I know your sleepers this year. George Pickens, our guy B. John Robinson from Tucson, Arizona, running back for the Falcons. If you check out 500level.com, they have t-shirts of all these guys, some amazing Bijan shirts. Check it out. Use the discount code ONESTAR for 20% off everything on the site. 500level.com. Let's go.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. I am DK, joined with my best friend of 25 years, Rip. We are One Stars. We bring 5 stars on this podcast and try to get a little bit better from them in life, sports, everything that we can really pull. In this case, we're back in Hawaii. So nice to be doing a Hawaii show with a Hawaii legend, Chad Owens. Everybody from our guy Tamua, who was on the podcast with us last year, who's doing some training with him. If you keep up with any Hawaii football on social media, you'll see Chad Owens on the sidelines coaching his players and his son, Chad Owens Jr., who's on the team. It's really great to be doing stuff in Hawaii. We're gonna talk about that. Stay tuned. In the meantime, I have the honor and privilege to introduce my co-host, reintroduce, as Jay-Z would say, to my good friend Rip, who Radical Rip, we'll call him. We'll call him Ridiculous Rip. You need a nickname now, folks. We have a donut eating contest winner with us in the flesh. Radical Rip, congratulations.
Thank you, man. If people want to check it out, we'll break it down in a minute, but it's all over social media. It's One Star Recruits on Instagram and Twitter. You can see the clips, DK. Saturday was an amazing day. I'm still kind of on a high, and it was a crazy day. Man. Lots of donuts.
I knew you would be a champion, man. I knew you would be a champion. I have all kinds of questions, but just going back to how you got there. You decided to drive out from Long Beach, where you live, to the beautiful city of Laughlin to just do a weekend with your pops, right?
Yeah, and just to set the stage a little bit, for people who've never been to Laughlin, it's about an hour south of Las Vegas. It's like Las Vegas's little stepbrother, basically. It's a really small town on the Colorado River, about 7 casinos. So it's like a very miniature Las Vegas. It's also 117 degrees in the summertime. So it makes for just a hot, sweaty mess out there. You want to stay in the air conditioning as long as possible. And thank goodness what I did happened to be indoors. I was staying indoors, and what I did was indoors. And what I did was dominate a donut eating contest, DK.
Okay, so you and your pops go. So you value guy, so that makes sense why you're going to a city like Laughlin to rendezvous with your father when it's 120 degrees. So that makes sense. How much was that room? $49?
Actually, everything has doubled in the past 5 years, DK. It's actually over 100 a night, which is crazy because it's Laughlin, man. It shouldn't be over $50.
That's crazy. Laughlin coming up. Everything's up, even Laughlin there. Okay, so you're there. You do the casino. I love it that you just do the weekend with your dad. That's something One Stars out there. Go do a weekend with your pops. Meet in a random city. Do some activities. You started looking for some activities. I think I maybe set you off on this adventure mode, Rip, because I texted you very gently, hey, throw $20 on a Wheel of Fortune machine for me, give it a spin, max it out, see what happens. You had you decided to respond with reasons why I shouldn't do that, but I think I set you on a pace of adventure. So thank you for doing that. Listeners, I didn't win. Rip thinks I should be doing other stuff with my $20 bill, apparently. Rip, it's part of the fun. Wheel of Fortune is, if you just spin the wheel, you pay for your $20. I'm going to keep moving forward, though, because then you proceed on. So you're walking through the casino with your pops. What you guys eat? Subway? Think about eating Subway? How did the donut show person find you?
So I mentioned there's 7 casinos in the city, and they're all within, like, say, a mile of each other. So we're walking. We hit each casino, like, at various points of the day. We're walking. There's this casino called the Edgewater. It's one of the oldest ones in Laughlin. And we walk in. There's a DJ going. There's a bunch of pink everywhere, and it's crazy. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Turns out there's a grand opening for this store called Pink Box Donuts, which has like 7 locations in Vegas, but outside of Vegas, you wouldn't even know what it is. But there is the first branch in Laughlin. So it happened to be the grand opening that day. There's a huge party. There's a line around the corner. I see a bunch of free t-shirts. So first thing in my head is, I'm gonna grab a donut and get a free t-shirt. So you buy a donut, you get a free t-shirt. So I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I go in the line, I'm standing in line. This woman comes up with a clipboard she's walking around asking people, does anyone want to sign up for a donut eating contest? My first thought was absolutely not. That sounds crazy. But then immediately after that, I said to myself, this would be amazing content for the pod if I entered this, but it has to be a good amount of time because I'm not getting in a 10-minute donut eating contest. I'm not Joey Chestnut, but I could do a few minutes. So I pulled her back in and I said, hey, how long is the contest? She said 3 minutes. It's whoever can eat the most donuts in 3 minutes. Right then, DK, I said, sign me up.
Was your dad shocked?
He was out gambling at the slot. He was doing some of the Wheel of Fortune, like you throwing away his money.
Oh, nice. He knows what's up. He knows how to have a good time in Laughlin. Okay, so you're solo and you did it for the fucking pod. Good, Rip. We're helping another 1-star hitter out there. Live some life. Say yes every once in a while. And Pink Box looks like they're a lot of fun. They do Pink Box. It's kind of the take on a sexual take, like Pink Tacos in Vegas was really successful. They do coffee. They do. Funny thing about them, they're kind of big. How many locations, Rip? 7 in Utah and Nevada?
There's 7 and they're always packed. If you go anyone in Vegas, you see all the pictures, all the videos. It's just there's always a line. It's like that scarcity thing because there's only 7 of them. There's so much demand.
I think they're dominating the marketing realm of it too because they're also partners of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Raiders. But they're having a hard time picking people, so they picked you. They see you 165 pounds wearing your Phillies hat, and you say yes. And you're ushered away to probably one of the trashiest eating contests ever at the Edgewater Hotel. Did they prep you at all, or are you just tagged in, ready to rock?
Well, so here's the part I didn't tell you. That she came up to me at 10 in the morning, and I was in line to get a donut. And basically, what else she said was that get a box of donuts. Whatever you don't eat is yours to keep. So I'm like, oh, I'll just get in there. I'll eat a donut or two, and then I'll come back with a bunch of extra donuts for free. So I'm like, all right. So I get out of line because I don't need a donut before that. I got 2 hours to the eating contest. 10 in the morning. The contest is at noon. So I go find my pops and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what do I need to do right now to prep for this donut eating contest?
Most of our listeners and me are thinking, go smoke a joint. But you do not do the Mary Jane. So this was not even a thought to you. Continue.
I don't, but I know that when I'm drunk, I get really hungry and I can eat more, as probably most people. It's like those late night Taco Bell runs, when you're hammered and you can go eat 12 tacos. So it's 10:15 in the morning. I immediately start ordering Crown and Cokes from the cocktail waitress. So within that 2-hour span, I drank, there's 3 or 4 Crown and Cokes. I just pounded them. So I definitely was a little buzzed. And I was like, I'm ready for this thing because I'm a competitor, DK. I didn't think I was going to win by any chance of the imagination because I've never done anything like this before. But I went in and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna really try for this thing.
Yeah, I was getting text messages from our friends because you Instagram lived it. I think you had your pops film it, which was amazing, by the way. Thank you for doing that. Just having your pops do it. That was probably a struggle. But they recognize and they haven't seen your game face like I've seen it. But some friends already said, Rip's game face is on. You could tell you were ready.
When they had us up there, there was like an announcer with a microphone kind of going through all the contestants and they introduced everybody. He came up to me and he called me out as a professional eater. He said, this guy's a sleeper. I was the smallest person on that stage, DK, by at least 50 pounds. But this guy, this announcer somehow looked at me and said, this guy can eat a lot. And, I've never done anything remotely like this before. I mentioned that before. But I do always brag to my friends that outweigh me that I can out eat them because I know I can eat a lot in certain situations.
That's probably a little boost of confidence too. He probably hit you with a little boost that you might have needed.
He did hit me with a little boost, but I also didn't want people to think that I'm like this Joey Chestnut out of the blue that does this all the time because I've literally never done anything like that before. So he announced everybody, and then right then, DK, it was like now I know what these athletes talk about when they're in a zone because I got locked in. I turned my hat backwards. I was like, I'm ready to rock, and there was a little countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You open the box of donuts, but this is what was crazy because in my head, I thought they're just going to be like round cake donuts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when I've been telling people I ate 3.5 donuts in 3 minutes, people are like, "Oh, that's not a lot. It's just a cake donut." That is absolutely not the truth. These donuts were. There's a picture on our Instagram. They're round cake donuts, and on top of that is surrounded by really thick frosting in the shape of a cone. It kind of looks like the poop emoji. The thing is probably 6 inches high. And on top of the donut, in between there and the top of the cone, it's filled with cream, buttercream that you find on a cake. These things had to be
shit.
they had to be a half a pound.
half a pound. So yes, okay, holy shit. Way more cream than you expected. Definitely way more frosting than you expected, which probably changes your game plan mentally. But how do you attack? How do you attack? Do you go right at the bottom or do you start at the top?
So when I opened the box, there were five of those poop emoji donuts in there. And the box weighed probably 5 pounds at least. So I'm like, holy shit, right that second, I had no choice but to just start eating. So I cracked the first one. It's full of cream on the top. I eat all the cream. And then I finally get to the donut. And then they had 2 bottles of water for each contestant. So all I remember is seeing Joey Chestnut pounding water, taking a bite of hot dog, pounding water, take bite, drink, bite, drink. So I just did that from the start. It was bite, drink, bite, drink. And what do you know? I had no idea how I was doing because I was just looking down at the.
It was going pretty smooth. Everything was going down pretty smooth though. Like you were like, fuck, this is super hard. It was going down on that technique.
It was going down smooth. I was the contestant all the way to the right of the table. So there were 9 people to the left of me. So I had no idea how I was doing versus everybody else until I ate the first donut pretty fast, probably within 60 seconds. And the announcer comes down to me for the first time. He's kind of doing a play-by-play. He goes, "Oh my gosh, this guy is ahead. He's dominating. You're so far ahead." And at that moment, I knew I had a chance because there were 2 minutes left. So I went even harder on the second donut. And then, but
was the crowd reacting? Was the crowd reacting at all?
They were getting into it. I mean, the DJ was playing music. The announcer was there, and you could tell it's like because it was a 3-minute contest, which is super quick. So there's kind of a buildup and a crescendo. And so by the time the last minute came and I was on my third donut, the announcer basically said he was trying to make it like it was a contest. So he went down to the other end of the table and told me that he kind of said to everybody, "Oh, it's getting close. It's getting close." So that kind of pushed me a little bit more, kind of like when you're running like a 5K and you're trying to pass someone at the very end so the last minute I was starting to get extremely full, but I pounded that third donut, took about 4 bites of the fourth one, and they called the contest. The owner of Pink Box came over and said, "It's not even close. This guy's the winner." That was a defining moment of my life. Okay.
He held up your hand and came over there. What was second place? Just curious at the amount of donuts. 2.5?
No, so I was 3.5. I think the second place, I didn't even see, to be honest, but I think he got close to 3. So probably 2.5 to 3, somewhere in there.
2.5 to 3. Impressive. See, Rip? Damn. I love it that you did it. I didn't expect you to win. You texted me that 2 hours before. Nice move on the Crown and Cokes. Also a totally normal thing to be drinking Crown and Cokes at 10 a.m. in Laughlin. So that's totally normal there too. So respect that move. You probably got respect from all the locals when you were done. Did you do a press conference? Is there any next steps in this as far as Pink Box is concerned? Or did they just, what do you win, bro?
So a couple of things. I won a $300 gift card to Pink Box. I got a free t-shirt. I got the free t-shirt I was originally looking for. And I got interviewed for a radio station. The announcer interviewed me, asked me questions. I took pictures with like local council members and all this stuff. And it was crazy. They said Rip from Long Beach is the winner. And they announced me and, everyone was clapping and all that.
Oh, you got to say Rip from One Star Recruits. Did you say One Star Recruits on the interview?
No, you know what? I thought about it, but it was kind of loud in there. I didn't know if anyone would catch it. And I didn't want to feel like I was doing this for like some gimmick or publicity stuff for a podcast or anything like that.
We are doing that.
It is, but I felt
you're taking it seriously. You think you're a pro eater pretty much now is what that happened. Now you're answering, now you're doing press conference questions like you're thanking your dad for raising you.
I don't think I'm a pro eater, at all, but it was a weird feeling, DK. Like I've never really won an arm wrestling match or like a significant thing like that, but there's something to be said.
What was the last thing that you won as a human being when you were the outright winner and you won?
God, I didn't even win a spelling bee growing up. I don't know if I've ever won anything.
That's a crazy question. So I think back to a poster drawing contest in maybe 4th grade in Miss Hamp's class, like a "Don't Do Drugs" poster that I got some movie tickets for. That's a crazy thing to think about, though.
Yeah, we're one stars, man. We haven't won much in life. That's the bottom line. But this is the thing is, we can be more grateful.
We can be more grateful, and we can in that stage. But if you think of getting your hand raised like a UFC fighter or like a donut eating champ, it's very, very rare, man.
It's very rare, especially for us. And I had all 9 contestants kind of filing by me on the way out, just fist bumping me, giving me props, showing me lots of respect. Like, how in the hell did you just do that? And there's something to be said, especially for a smaller guy like me, being able to look into a person's eyes that outweighs me by 100 pounds and saying like, I just dominated that person in a real contest. Like it's a weird feeling, DK, but it was amazing.
Well, Mazel Tov, congratulations. Let's keep it going. I have a couple recommendations for follow-ups. I think calling on you, Las Vegas Raiders, the best donuts in Las Vegas and Pink Box, bring some regional champs like Rip. I mean, it's a superstar. You're a superstar in the making. Let's go is it still called Allegiant Stadium in Vegas? Did they change the name of that?
No, it's Allegiant Stadium, the Death Star, and there's a Pink Box location in that stadium during.
Oh my God, match made in heaven. So we need to get Rip out there. If you're listening, Pink Box, bring him out for halftime. Great content for everybody. Rip will probably win. We uncovered probably his secret superpower. Who would have thought? Second recommendation, another wide receiver. We have a wide receiver in the interview we're going to get to here just in 1 second, listeners, I promise. But another wide receiver, Randy Moss, just opened his new restaurant, Rip. It's called Chick-a-Boom. Guess what, bro? It's a chicken and donuts restaurant. And they opened one in Philly. So since Philly's your East Coast city, in fact, I think you had your Phillies hat on for this eating contest, which is also phenomenal. Maybe you could bring your eating talents to the city of brotherly love at Randy Moss's Chickadee.
Hey, I'm open to it. I'm undefeated in eating contests. I'm down to try another eating contest at some point, especially for the sake of this pod and the content and any publicity it brings to this pod. Because I mean, dude, it's far fetched, but man, DK, maybe I found my calling. Who the hell knows?
Well, you also messed up quite a bit. There was no 1-star shirt. There was no 1-star. We just do the 1-star. Put your finger in the air, and I didn't see that, Rip. So I'm going to talk to you about some PR marketing in the future if this continues. But I'm very proud of you. Nevertheless, I'm also proud of you for booking one of my favorite guys from Hawaii, Chad Owens. Enjoy this interview with Chad Owens Sr.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a husband, a father, a native of Honolulu, Hawaii, currently a motivational and fitness coach, but in a past life, a Rainbow Warrior legend at the wide receiver position. Someone who reps the 808 to the fullest, Chad Owens Sr. is in the house with the One Star Recruits. Aloha, Chad, and mahalo for hopping on with the One Stars, man.
Hey, man, aloha and mahalo for the intro. Man, thanks for having me.
We're super happy to have you. Our guy DK right here has lived on Maui for a couple years, but everyone in our age bracket, early 40s, remembers you in that number 2 jersey for the Rainbow Warriors, running all over the field. And then you went on, you played a bit for the Jacksonville Jaguars, went on to have a remarkable career in the Canadian Football League. But you're 41 now, just like in our age bracket, like DK here and myself. And honestly, you look in even better shape now because we know you're a fitness coach. You're repping solar power out in Hawaii. But for anyone who hasn't really heard from you in 15, 20 years, what have you been up to? What do your days look like now down on Oahu?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm bodybuilding, going after my IFBB pro card. Like that's sort of what's on the horizon. That's what I've been doing the last couple of years. So I've got a show coming up in November in Anaheim, California to, try to get this pro card. So I've been doing that. Both my wife and I actually, fitness has always been a part of my life. Obviously started out lifting to get stronger for football. And I just fell in love with it, man. I think that sort of set the foundation for me. Well, maybe not lifting, but, hard work, right? I pride myself on my work ethic. That's sort of how I made it. But when I think back to my childhood, I think that's just something that I put in it just came natural. Competing, going hard, trying to win, I think ultimately pushed me to just work hard. You know what I mean? It was a natural thing. So, thank God for that natural ability, because man, without that, I wouldn't be here today, sort of talking to you guys, doing the most while back home. Thanks. I hate to bring this up, but thanks to the pandemic, like we're back home. If it wasn't for that, we'd probably still be in Toronto, to be 100% honest with you. So just enjoying life, man. Working, like you said, with some, family first solar. Helping my kids out. My son's over here at UH playing football now. My daughter just graduated high school. She's coming to UH to study. She's trying to get into the medical field. And my youngest is, going to be a sophomore in high school at Mauna Loa High School. So been busy with that, man, but just enjoying life, enjoying the grind. I'm acting as well. I'm just trying to do the most.
Yeah.
I'm in my early 40s, but I feel like I got a lot more left to go, as far as things that I want to accomplish.
Bro, you look amazing. You're doing the coolest stuff. I too, the pandemic also brought me to the islands about 2.5 years ago. In fact, when I first moved here, I remember seeing you on the morning shows hiding Texaco cards all over Oahu and talking about fitness. So yeah, you came up early on the TV when I moved here, man. But community in Hawaii has been everything. I've been lucky enough to find some great community through. I decided to learn how to play golf when I moved here. I wanted to learn how to play. So over at Kaanapali and Kapalua, I've met all kinds of great people. For you, I know health and fitness is a foundation of your life and the CO2 brand. If I sign up, Chad, for a 30-day challenge with you on Chad Owens 2 on Instagram, or even hit you up for some personal training, what am I getting myself into?
I'm honestly, man, you just getting yourself into building better habits just to be more successful in life, to be 100% completely honest with you, because, you know, getting on a strict diet, you know, working out daily, all it is discipline, right? So if you can create the discipline to eat pretty much the same foods every day, right? Healthy, and drink a gallon of water every day, remove certain things out of your diet to help you live a healthier lifestyle, and to be active by working out every day. Like, that's just building habits, work ethic habits. And, you know, that's going to allow you to do other things and be great at other things. But it's such a foundation, man. Like, you know, building muscle, they also say it's so good for just longevity. You know what I mean? It's a stress reliever. You know, other people turn to, you know, I'm just going to be honest, right? Alcohol, drugs, other things for stress. I'm telling you, working out is the best thing to relieve stress.
The best.
So that's what you'd be getting yourself into, is just starting to set the foundation for a healthier lifestyle and winning habits.
Yeah, dude, you actually have a real life example going on right now, who's our friend of the podcast, Tamua Tuane. He's the best comedian in Hawaii. Definitely a 1-star recruit for Hawaii football when he played too. You're helping getting his ass in shape right now, bro. Listeners, you can follow along. We had him on the podcast last year. He told us about his season pass to Disneyland, where he likes turkey legs and corn dogs. Don't bring him to Anaheim, Chad, with you for the bodybuilding challenge, man. He
knows. Hey,
he already knows.
Tumua's been crushing. We finished our third week training. He's down probably over 11 pounds, maybe 13 pounds.
Wow.
He's feeling great. And, you know, I give him a cheat meal every Sunday night. So if he's in Disneyland, he can have his turkey legs, as long as it's going to be on a Sunday.
Yeah, I saw you take him to Costco. You got him all set up with that meal prep, man. What's the number one meal you putting into Mua's body right now?
Man, it's just a good balance of protein, carbs, and good fats. Like, really, that's it. Like, people think, oh, I kind of eat carbs. No, you need to eat carbs, but it's the right kind of carbs, and there's a purpose for it, right? Jasmine rice, maybe sweet potatoes. You know, those are the delivery systems for the proteins to get into your muscle. Like, you need that.
And for the energy, and for the energy, man. I've been putting oats in my smoothie in the morning for that extra energy.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was not a believer of the carbs too. You know, you do the thing when you want to lose weight where you get skinny, but you see your muscle go away too if you don't eat right, man. So it's important, man. Dude, let me ask you about some Hawaii stuff. We have you here, man. A couple quick hitters, because I'm a Haole. I've been here 2 years. I try to learn every day about this beautiful place I'm so lucky enough to spend some time of my life on. I asked Tamua this too. I'm gonna ask you, Foodland. I still usually get 8 salt and vinegar wings, and then I get half shoyu, and I get half California poke bowl. What's your Foodland order, Chad?
Man, just as of late, it hasn't been anything because I'm on strict diet. But you know what? The family loves poke, right? Poke bowls, and you know, all the kids, they love the California. They love the California poke. My son loves the shoyu poke. But there's a special item at Foodland. I'm gonna turn you on to this right now.
Let's go.
More of a cheat day thing, and they don't always have it, but when they do, it's the pistachio pudding cake.
Oh,
bro,
that's over in the deli section where they keep all the cakes over there by the pre-made salad.
It's in the ice box. It's in the plastic box. You know, it's clear. You can see through. It's the green one. Can't miss. It's green with like a brown kind of top, like pistachio pudding cake. It's gonna change your life. But you can't have it every day though.
No, that's a Sunday meal. But if I as a Howleys, let's say I get invited to a barbecue, which I sometimes do, and I show up on a Sunday and I bring the pistachio cake, I'll be a winner. I'll be a hero.
Bro, you'll be in. You'll be in. Hey, take off the labels. Say, yeah, I made this.
I made it. Yeah, I made it. That's the next level. They start and Auntie will start questioning me. I'll have to get away from that conversation. But I love that. What a great recommendation, bro. Let me ask you this. NFL on Sunday mornings were a trip for me. A lot of people on the mainland, NFL Sunday mornings start at 7 a.m. It's kind of a treat for me to wake up and grab a cup of coffee and watch the morning games. During the NFL season, now as a fan, I know you're doing fitness. I know you probably even get a little church in there on Sunday, but what's the Sunday morning look like now for Chad Owens?
Man, that's my rest day. That's my recovery day. So I try to sleep in, but I can't sleep in because I got to get 6 meals in me. So I got to get up and still eat, but it's a chill day, man. It's a family day, beach. Some days like maybe just chill at home all day, man. Just stay off my feet, watch movies, get back on some series on Netflix or, it's really just my day to just decompress.
To chill.
I try not to be on social media much that day. I know it's important to like post something every day, but as of late, the Sundays have been like kind of chill, even from social media, because you got to get away from everything. It's a full reset to get me excited and motivated about Monday.
Yeah, a lot of people in Hawaii, a lot of locals, I really respect it too. They do. It's a shutdown day and it's a family. It's usually an outdoor beach day. It's beautiful. Do you do NFL ticket in the morning? Do you do the Red Zone channel? How are you doing your NFL digestion?
Well, NFL stuff, man. Yeah, no, we got, my son is a huge 49ers fan. So, if the 49ers are on, which they are on a lot, right? West Coast, we're here in Hawaii. We're tuning in, but I ain't got no network and special games I gotta watch. I don't do NFL fantasy football. I'm a fan of the game, right? I played it for so long. I love watching good talent, guys making big plays. I'm a fan of talent, you know what I mean? And and work ethic and guys. I like to hear about guys' stories. And just, that's how I become a fan of someone is sort of getting to know them. Like Brock Purdy, man. Like wow, that dude, he got me hooked last year. You know what I mean?
He's hooked. And lots of unknowns coming into this year, but we're looking forward to it, man. It's very exciting to track. I know you're probably doing deadlifts on Sunday morning while you're watching, but the 49ers have a great story. I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan, so it's very difficult right now for me to find the positivity, but it's amazing when it starts how to see the guys pop off the screen and the real athletes shine in the NFL. I like the same thing you do, my man.
Hey, Chad,
Yes,
we just covered a lot of Hawaii stuff, but we wrap up every interview with the segment we call 1 star to 5 star. Everybody knows we're the 1 stars. We're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So I want to ask a few questions, and let's use a 1 to 5 star scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Just to paint a picture for everybody, you're in your car right now, probably right outside the UH practice field. I know you help out at the practice there, and your son, Chad Jr. is over there as a slot receiver. But your quarterback, when you were at Hawaii, Timmy Chang, he took over as head coach last season, got off to a little bit of a rough start with, I think 3-10 was the record, but we all know it takes time to turn around any program. What's the 5-star reason why Timmy Chang will succeed as head coach of the Rainbow Warriors?
Number one, he's played here. He understands the culture. And just by watching him, man, he is a really good coach. He's a player's coach. It's funny to me because Timmy was never really that vocal leader when we played. Like he wasn't that. He would chime, he was more of the by example. Timmy did everything. I don't know if he's ever made a mistake, like at practice. I mean, he's made mistakes, but it just seems like he's never made mistakes. You know what I mean? Because he was always on point, and that's another reason why he's going to be a great coach, because his preparation was like no other. He knew everything inside and out. And now they're back running the run and shoot, which he's had so much success in. So I think that is also another reason why we're going to turn things around even more this year. And I'm excited for him, and that's why I'm out here supporting him, because everyone wants to see him succeed. because of who he is. I mean, yeah, we want the program to do well, but we got Timmy Chang at the helm, and that's a local boy who's representing Hawaii, amazingly, and we just want to see him do well. So, and I believe the qualities he possesses is the reason why he's gonna succeed here, and it's gonna happen. This year will be a better year than last year.
Hey, I know everyone on the island's rooting for him. We're just over 30 days out from that opener against Vanderbilt, so big things happening at UH. You came out of there as the 185th pick in the 2005 NFL Draft, and early in your rookie season, you had a game where I believe you mishandled like 3 punts in 1 quarter, and the Jags waived you shortly after that. But you bounced back, wound up re-signing with the team, and went on to have a spectacular career in Canada. We talk about our one-star moments every week, just the shit that happens to us every week that just proves that we're one stars. But we all know it's really about bouncing back and overcoming adversity, whatever's thrown your way. That moment in 2005, what was the driving force you used to put that behind you and make you a better player and person because of it?
Yeah, man, that whole situation, like, it's got such a long backstory to that. Probably for another time, but the bounce back really, it's just a realization that I knew that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I was capable of, what I did my entire career up until that point. I am a legit return guy, but on top of that, I believe that was a really, really good receiver too. And I think I got in my, to go back a little bit, I think I got in my own head a little bit, because I knew I could play receiver, but I was only being looked at as a returner. And, that's just kind of like the mental battle that I was facing personally. But after that year, I just went back to work. I said, okay, like, I faced adversity before. It's nothing new. I went back to work, trained, and came back the next year and as the starting returner from day one.
Yep.
I worked and earned that. And then I got hurt against Pittsburgh Monday Night Football. I got a rib, and I felt like it sort of went downhill after that. But it doesn't matter. Like, the moral of this is that we will face adversity always. Like, it's not a one-time deal. Okay, I've overcome it, I'm good now. It's always going to happen. So the more I faced it, the more I overcame, the more lessons I learned, the better I got. So, in the end, ultimately, yeah, I ended up in Canada. Do I wish that I would have had that career in the NFL? Absolutely. Because financially it would be a whole lot different. You know what I mean? But truly thankful for those lessons and adversities that I faced in the NFL. That's what made me the player that I was in Canada.
We talk about it all the time on this pod. It's those moments that you don't let them define you. You just go forward from there. And I love that perspective on it. So thanks for sharing that. We talked a little bit about earlier, kind of all the stuff you're dabbling in down there on Oahu. You ran for, I think it was an at-large seat in the Office of Hawaiian Affairs last fall and had a narrow loss, I think. But politics is a crazy game. And if I'm not mistaken, it was your first kind of foray into running and being in an election. But you're a legend down there on Oahu. I think you have a really good platform with some, really reasonable sounding ideals from what I read. Let's say on a 1 to 5 star scale, 1 meaning never again, and 5 meaning no doubt it's going to happen. Is there more politics in your future?
Just because it's an unknown right now, I'm gonna say 3, because I don't want to say no, it's never gonna happen, and I'm not gonna say it's for sure gonna happen. So I'm right in the middle, because I believe it just wasn't my time,
Yeah.
And if it's something down the road, maybe not in OHA, but maybe in something else, who knows? Those opportunities, they just come up, and I'm not one to, shy away from an opportunity to create change and to represent, the people. So, if that opportunity was to come up again, and, I definitely have to take a hard look at it. But, right now I'd say it's a 3. I'm right in the middle, because, I'm not pursuing it, but I'm not closing that door.
Okay. Good answer. Last one here. I started off this interview by saying that you're a husband and a father of 3. There's always a reason I talk about that, because it's the most important job we have as men. And you've been with your wife, Arena, for I think over 25 years. We see you on Instagram working out, training for the bodybuilding comps, and lifting her up all the time and promoting everything. It's being a good husband. It's the Aloha spirit, all of that. But what's your 5-star marriage advice for, let's say, putting your wife first and always just treating her like a queen?
Yeah, man. This is a special one. You said I've been with my wife since we were 12 years old. Right? I'm
Woo!
41. We're both 41. So yeah, you can do the math there. She's my best friend, my childhood friend. We grew up together. Like it's effortless for us, right? Because we've been together so long. But at the same time, it does take a lot of effort. And I think my number one advice for couples and marriages, because I understand the game, right? This is me and my wife. What we have it's a rare thing, right? A lot of times people get together later, maybe in their 20s, 30s, right? And they, in the beginning of every relationship, it's bells and whistles. It's beautiful. You're not gonna say what you truly feel because you don't want to, you just want to keep things cool. And then you get engaged, and then you get married, and then you start to realize. Then you start getting irritated at things, and then your true self comes out, which is fine because you have to show your true self. But it's work. Like at the end of the day, this will be marriage or relationships is the hardest job you will ever have because it takes work. And the hardest thing we do the hardest thing we have doing as people, believe it or not, is putting someone else before ourselves. That is hard to do. But in a relationship, right? I think for me, I'm so thankful that I've been on sports my whole life because sports teams, it's about the next person, right? It's about the guy next to you. It's about the girl next to you. It's about, hey, I'm not going to mess up because I have their back. So I think that mentality helps, in a relationship. And it's a team thing. If you approach it like a team and, hey, I want to see you succeed. I want you to succeed before I succeed. That whole mentality helps with putting the other one first. And so, yeah, man, just understanding it is a job. It's going to be the hardest job that you do. And sometimes though, like later in life, things change, right? But I think that's a key foundation in a relationship is understanding first that it's a job. It's going to take work. And yeah, you got to put the other person first. You want to see them succeed before yourself.
Hey, truer words never been spoken, man. I love the analogies with sports and relationships and life. And it's just so true, man.
You talked about my kids as well, right? So that just adds a whole different element. Now you're not putting one person first. You're putting your 1, 2, 3 children and your spouse, all before yourself. That can get hard, and the reason why my relationship, I'm just gonna be honest, is I'm so lucky. My wife, she's the greatest in the world, man. Like, no complaints. Picked the kids, did what she had to do, like literally sacrificed for me. She's traveled, so many trips by herself with 3 kids, by herself, like multiple times. She's moved and packed houses multiple times and doesn't complain. Just does what needs to be done. I'm sure it sucks, right? But
she's going to be there with you in Anaheim, probably shaving your butt before you get up there and win that pro card.
Hey, we're shaving each other's butt because she's doing it too. That's why she's competing.
Let's
as
go.
Well, so.
Let's go.
As long as it's not Tamua shaving your butt, we're
yeah, no. Well, yeah, no, I love my wife to death, man. Rena, thank you so much for what you do for us and family, and your heart is unmatched.
Hey, thanks for being vulnerable and talking about it, man, because really it's the most important thing anyone should take out of this interview. But everyone, go follow Chad at Chad Owens 2 on both Twitter and Instagram. Go to chadowens2.com, get that 30-day challenge going. Chad, man, we look forward to following your journey in the future. Thank you for being such a great ambassador for the state of Hawaii, and mahalo again, man, for coming on with the One Star Recruits, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys so much, man. Thank you. And hey, good luck. And yeah, we'll do it again,
Big mahalo to Chad Owens for hopping on the pod. Great stuff. If you're in Southern California, go to Anaheim. Support this guy getting his professional bodybuilder's certificate card. He's not eating donuts, that's for sure. Actually, we call them malasadas here in Hawaii. Actually, in honor of you, Rip, I had one this morning, not even thinking of this donut-themed podcast that we're doing. But I had a great early morning, woke up. It will be part of my 1 star, but I got an older dog who's once again having some health issues. But we went to the beach early this morning and I came back and I hit a little malasada shop, and I got one of those custard filled malasadas. One was plenty for me. Also delicious. Actually got me thinking of some of my favorite donuts. I'm going to hit you with my top 3, and then I'll move away from donuts. Are you okay with that? Are you sick of talking donuts?
No, I'm. It's been a few days, so I'm ready to have another one. Hit me with them.
Are you really? Sicko. Yeah, maybe this is your thing. Okay, my favorite donut, my top 3 donuts of all time. I'll start with number 3. Number 3, it's Bosa Donuts. It's a chain in Arizona. It's real simple. It's an old school twist. It's the best. It's a modern version of what Winchell's used to be for me. I think Winchell's has now gone away. Bosa Donuts just does it a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Number 2, Sidecar Donuts. This is in Southern California. I don't know if they've grown. They only had one place. I think it was in Newport Beach. They have this horchata donut that will blow your mind. It's the best, period. Horchata is a rice cinnamon flavored Mexican drink that's so good they make a donut out of it. Number 1 winner by far for me, the Cambodian donut place, usually called Donut Kings or DK, as fate would have it. And they have the best apple fritters in the world. That's my favorite jam. Favorite donuts and apple fritter. Favorite donut place is DK's Donuts. How's that list?
Hey, apple fritters anywhere, especially from Simone's in Long Beach, is my top one. Hey, have you seen any iced coffee donuts? They have an iced coffee donut. I'll travel within 100 miles to try that.
That's the thing with donut flavors now. They're pretty much have every flavor you can ever want. I'm a naturalist. I go back to the old school glaze and twist. When the pressure's on me, I freeze up. I'm not like you, Rip. I would open that donut thing with all that custard and all that. It's too much for me. I probably would have froze up. So I'm thinking about myself. I don't know if I would have continued on.
You got to meet the moment, DK.
It's for a different show. Yeah, you got to meet the moment, Rip. You know, I think I might have pushed out when I saw shit. I think my mind would have said, that's too much. I didn't expect that. That's too much. And then just casually go through it. You turned it on, bro.
Did you see Chad Owens' shopping list, by the way? He posted him and his wife, Arena. They're both training for this bodybuilder card. They posted on Instagram the other day. It's basically Costco. It's basically like salmon, mahi, cheese, like all kinds of proteins. And they basically said, this is what we're going to be eating every single day for the next 7 weeks. That they would never even look at a donut right now. But I know on Sunday, on the cheat day, he's going to be getting that pistachio cake from Foodland. Have you tried that yet?
Oh, no, I need to keep an eye open for that. I always walk by the cake station and they do the worst thing for me. They put the calories right on the cake box. And I know the slices, I always look at them I'm like, that looks good. And then the calories are like 620 calories. And then I think about that on a treadmill every time I walk away. Not worth it. 6 bites for 620. I wish they wouldn't do that. Actually, put the calories on there. Kind of messes up food for me. But I have a lot of respect for, it's funny you said cheese. Cheese has no protein, nor is it healthy and building muscle, Rep. I don't think cheese was on that Costco list, but definitely heavy protein.
I might have added that in there by mistake. Maybe it was yogurt or something. Cheese does have protein. Dairy has protein, but it probably wasn't on the list. You're right.
Probably not on the list. Anyway, well, Hawaii's been great, man. So you did a little trip with your pops. I had my house to myself, which was gorgeous, especially being here in Hawaii. Man, what a beautiful place to live. And Kimmy went to Cabo for a friend's birthday for 4 days. I didn't really know what to do with myself, but I got Saturday night. I did UFC and pizza. Great card, the BMF card. Rip, I know you were out eating seafood in Laughlin, so you missed that one. But I went up to my buddy's Kyle's house. This unbelievable fight. Justin Gaethje ended up knocking out this dude with a big old kick. I ate about 4 slices of pizza, which now looking at it, this is a food episode, and now I'm embarrassed about the amounts of food that I eat. I worked out. I went to the driving range. I hung out at the ocean. Really a 5-star weekend I had to myself, which was great. But of course, it comes with some 1-star moments that probably are mostly my fault. So listeners, every week we do 1-star moments. We all have them. We talk about them. Mine this week is normal if you're an older dog owner. I think this stuff happens. But one of my older dogs, she gets weird after she takes her flea and tick meds. She gets lethargic, no appetite really. So after like a full day of not eating, she's eating treats though. She's just not eating the food that I made, the homemade food that I made for them, Rip. So like I'm offended by that, but she's eating treats. So I know she's not dying or anything here. So, but she's being picky and not eating. And I decided that, I'm going to just wait it out. So she decides to eat at like 8 o'clock at night, the food that I put out at 12 noon for her. She decides to go grub. So I'm like, all right, she's going to grub. I'm going to give her a little bit more. Just she's getting it in because guess what, bro? She's also not shitting. I think we've gone like 48 hours without a dog poo and now not eating. Like all the signs of your dog's in trouble and probably dying are starting to happen, except for the fact that she's playing, she's having a good time, and she's eating treats every time they're presented to her. So we're all good in that realm. So I get to overfeeding her at about 8 o'clock at night. Anyway, about 1 a.m., she hops off the bed. I hear a little pause, paddle, moving around. Okay, she probably needs to take a shit. That's what I think. So I pop up, dark bedroom, completely dark, 1 a.m, 2 steps forward towards the door. A warm, chunky, wet, phlegmy pile of dog food throw up right in my right foot, surrounds my right foot immediately. And I thought it was shit. So as soon as I got the light on, I was actually kind of happy that it was throw up and not shit. It is what it is at that point in time. So I pick her up, take her out. No poop still outside. She just stares back at me. She's just staring at me. Come in, clean it up, shower my foot off. Can't fall back asleep. The overall update. And I like to do 1-star moments into 5-star opportunities, Rip. Listeners know this. The update, we woke up early, took her to the beach. She took a big old shit. She ran around the beach and chased her ball. Happy as ever, feeling better. 1-star moments. There you go, bro.
Dude, maybe this stuff is contagious overseas. In the last 2 days, I've cleaned up 9 different throw-ups between my 2 dogs. Same thing, pile of food that I just fed them, chunky. So we've been getting them like boiled chicken and rice to try to calm their stomachs down. But yeah,
damn, you think we're in retrograde or what? What's happening?
I have no idea, but the little dog seemed to get better within 24 hours, and I feel like he passed it on to my older dog. So she's kind of in it right now. She's thrown up like 6 times today. So I'm hoping it gets better by tomorrow. But yeah, something's going
interesting.
around.
Listeners, if you have dogs, hit us up. Let us know if this is happening all over the place. Maybe this is a phenomenon. Maybe this is a business opportunity for the 1-stars. We can solve it with the August 1st. Mercury is possibly in retrograde. Throw up dog pill.
Was yours on the carpet? The one you had to clean up on the carpet?
On the carpet. I'm just grateful it wasn't on the bed. I think she's figured that out. So old dogs, man, you never know if every day's a situation. And at the end of the day, you just, if they're happy animals, they get sick like the rest of us and have stomach bugs and shit. So you never know, bro.
I hope she feels better soon, man. I got one for you too. Last week I mentioned on the pod that I was about to go to the dentist, take my kids to the dentist. The verdict is in, DK. It's a 1-star moment for me. My 7-year-old who turned 7 today. Happy birthday, Wesley, by the way. 0 cavities. Everything's great. But my younger one who just turned 5, DK, he has 8 molars in his mouth. 7 out of 8 cavities. 7 out of 8, DK.
Dang.
It feels like a parenting fail, but I asked the dentist, I said, they pretty much eat the same thing. It's kind of the same habits, but he probably doesn't brush his teeth as well. And he doesn't eat as many like actual meals. He eats a lot of snacks.
Right.
But she said that there's, different people process bacteria differently, and it affects some kids more than others and some people more than others. So that could be a reason for it. But the sad part is he's got to go back and go under and get 2 fillings at a time for like 3 more visits. So it's going to be a rough month, man. He's never had anything like that. So it's going to be his first experience with the drill and the filling. And I'm not looking forward to it, man.
No, not a good parenting. And don't feel too bad. I was a youngster who had fillings every time I went to the dentist, and we couldn't figure it out as much. So I've been there, done that. In fact, I just got a filling refilled that was like 23 years old. Could drink, it could buy a beer. So I'm sorry about that, bro, but damn, that is pretty 1-star, man. What are you doing for your oldest B-day? What do kids want to do nowadays for their birthday?
So we told him he could go out to eat anywhere he wants. He picked the Habit Grill. We're going to the Habit Grill.
Burgers, nice. Yeah. Burgers. You bringing homies or just doing family outing?
Just family tonight. And then we've been talking about for a while, we're going to that Angels game on Saturday. Thankfully, Ohtani is not going to get traded. He's not going to pitch Saturday.
Oh, yes, that's right. Good, dude. We were nervous about that. Wait, okay. So he's not going to pitch Saturday?
He's not going to. He's going to pitch Thursday against the Mariners, but he should be in the lineup unless anything, obviously goes wrong. But So
Yeah,
we'll be
good. Are
we'll
you
be
guys
there
in
in
the
right field.
Are you guys in the bleachers? You're in right field?
We're in right field, like I think like 12 rows up from the field. So we got a couple of his friends going and neighbors. So it should be an awesome time, man. We're at first time seeing Ohtani in person. Fingers crossed. You better not sit out that game.
Fingers crossed. And the listeners expect you to, in under 3 minutes, eat a full thing of nachos inside of a batting helmet. Can you do that for us?
I'm taking a break until there's something in it for me. But you know what? I was going to ask you. You probably know this, but you know how every time you go to like a baseball game, you'll see messages on the scoreboard saying like "Happy Birthday, Dana" or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was free. Am I crazy, or did you think it was free, or do you know that they charge for that?
Oh yeah, like that's became a charges thing in the monetization zone of the last 5 years. But since you brought a group out, if you called, the thing is people don't call anymore. I think if you called the group sales office, so you already have a group coming out and you're also a coach of little league team and you're thinking about coming out in the future, can you just do a message for your kid? I think that's the recipe for success if I was in your shoes.
I should try that. I did buy the tickets through the Angels website. What do you think is the cost for a happy birthday Wesley message at Angel Stadium? Just
probably $150, but I just gave you the cheat code. Were you not listening? You want me to say it in donut?
I'm just asking you if you know the call. I will call.
Oh yeah, my guess would be $150 to $200. But I think if you say that you're head coach and you're very actively involved in your kids' little league program and you're interested in bringing kids out next year, that'll be your ticket to a free. They'll hook it up, would be my guess.
Who do I call? Who do I look up for that?
I would just call the group sales department and hit the group sales number and say, hey, I have a crazy question, but I'm hoping to do this and build a relationship a little bit more in the future. Because that's the thing. If they think there's opportunities in the future, it's like Vegas, man. If they think you're a whale coming in, they're going to set you up nicely. So
it's $50, by the way, but I will call anytime I can make a quick phone call and have a chance to save $50. I'm all in. So I'll try it.
Dude, tell him that you just won a donut eating contest and that you've had Joey Chestnut on your podcast. Maybe they'll just hand Shohei Ohtani over to us for the podcast because you mentioned that to a group sales rep sitting in Anaheim eating Chipotle.
Hey, I might make their Tuesday afternoon out the boring Tuesday for them and turn it into a whole thing. I'll try. Happy birthday,
dude. Look, it's a great idea. Happy birthday to your eldest. You're a great father, minus the cavities, coming from a cavity kid. All due respect for you, Rip. Quick 1-star recommendations to end the podcast here. I'll start it off because mine goes back to a couple episodes when I was scared to use the pressure cooker. We all remember this. I never use a pressure cooker. I'm 40. And it seems to be like an appliance that a lot of people use in normal life who eat at home on a more regular basis. Well, guess what, bro? I'm an expert 2 months later. And last night I tested my skills and I made a pot roast. You want the deets, or is this just the lamest end of the podcast in the history of the world?
I have some of the deets because you asked our guy Onik from Shooting 2 for the recipe, but give me the 60-second.
He gave me a rib recipe, that's level 3. I was on level 1. In a nutshell, I got a big chuck roast piece, about 3 pounds, which I never normally buy. Got that. You throw that in the pressure cooker, you brown it, you take it out, you add some veggies, you add some red wine, you add some beef broth, you add some mushrooms, you put it back on top of it, you pressure cook it for an hour, you pull out the meat, you pull it like pulled pork, you pour the gravy over it, pull out the vegetables. 8.5 out of 10 meal done in 1 hour. Homemade pot roast, vegetables, and I served it with a little bit of buttered pasta. So you kind of ate it like a stroganoff. So pressure cooker king, bro.
Was there any left for your wife when she got back from Cabo, or did you house?
She was
the whole
here.
thing?
John, she was here last night. So that was a Sunday dinner upon her return. She was impressed. It's also hot in Hawaii, so just pot roast isn't a normal thing that is craved. But she was a soldier and she had a couple bowls, and the feedback was that the pasta needed to be sauced, but the meat was really good. And that's the key of the pressure cooker. What a roast usually takes fucking 6 hours, 4-6 hours. This took an hour, and with the good broth on top, great meal, Rip. So pressure cooker, man, break it back out. Maybe you can start cooking at your crib and you'll get less cavities. Maybe in an hour, that's efficiency right there. Pot roast is a great dinner, but probably one of the bottom 3 foods I'd want to try in an eating contest. Like I don't think I'd get into something that said, how much pot roast can you eat in 5 minutes? I'm out for that one. Yeah, that'd make you sick, man. What's your recommendation? What do you got for the people? Yeah, back to the dentist. This might be known. I don't know how well known or widely used it is, but I've been doing it forever. So, and I pass it on to my kids this last visit.
everyone, I assume everyone brushes their teeth right before they go into the dentist, so you don't hit that dentist with like a after meal mouth or food in your teeth and all that. But if you brush and floss right before you go to the dentist, that's a pro tip, but everyone should be doing that. But next level to me is putting on chapstick right before you go to the dentist. I don't know if you do that. I don't know how many people do that. I've been doing it forever. And if I can save one person from a cracked lip, DK, because that dentist destroys your mouth. If you have chapstick on, all that opening will save your lips. I did it for my kids. They had no complaints. So put chapstick on right before you head to the dentist.
Weirdo. We'll take it though. You probably still get that thing they put in your mouth to keep your mouth open, that chunk of clay or whatever they used to put in your mouth. Or are you an opener? You were always okay, or did you need the helper?
No, I don't have that gag reflex or anything like that. So I've always been pretty good with it, those x-rays and stuff. But have you ever tried chapstick before you went in? You should do it, man. I'm telling you, it'll save you.
I have never tried chapstick. Seems like maybe potential sex workers could use that too, that tip, if that's in your job. All respect to sex workers, but also possible could save you from chapping your lips. And, can edit that out if you want, Rip. Hit the music. All right, Rip. Paul Rubens died from cancer at age 70. Rest in peace. Please do a Pee Wee Herman voice and the Pee Wee Herman dance.
This is a terrible podcast. I can't do the dance, DK. No one can see it. Honestly,
it's a good dance, though. It's 2 points in the front, 2 points in the back. It's a classic dance, dude. The Pee Wee Herman dance is a great. Give us a try. One try at what you think a Pee Wee Herman voice would sound like.
Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. Enjoy.
It's terrible, man. Terrible. Haunted Mansion, man. The Haunted Mansion Disneyland ride. Actually, I like that one. One of my favorite. Ticket sales were horrendous this week, Rip. Are you going to take your kids to see Haunted Mansion?
We've been on that ride about 100 times, the family. They love it. But I think from what I've read, the movie's a little too scary and scary parts and, a little too over their age because they're 5 and 7 now. So I'm not, maybe in a couple years, we'll watch it at home.
Denver Broncos having some problems at wide receiver. Tim Patrick tore his Achilles in practice. They lost another wideout with a heart condition. Wide receiver sleepers for fantasy football. Hit us with 2 names we should know about.
Hey, this is great timing because I said him on the top of the podcast. Garrett Wilson, number 1. People don't talk about him enough. Now he's got Aaron Rodgers on the Jets with him to throw to him. So he's easily going to have 1,000 yards. And then number 2, I think, is his former college teammate, Chris Olave. I mean, I know he's a high pick in fantasy, but Derek Carr throws for a lot of yards. Chris Olave had over 1,000 last year as a rookie. I think he's going higher there. The arrow's pointing up, DK.
It is pointing up. Yes, indeed it is, Rip. I know you're up on crime and conspiracies. Lori Daybell got sentenced. Unfortunately, she killed her kids and she got sucked into a cult. What would be a cult that would at least interest you a little bit if it could be anything that would pique your interest? Donuts?
A donut eating cult? I don't want to be pigeonholed as the donut guy all of a sudden since I won a major eating contest, but I'm going to say I guess a cult for like sports nerds that like stats. And it sounds terrible. It sounds very nerdy and awful, but it also sounds like something a cult might start because of.
Jim Irsay owns the Colts. Might be one of the worst endings to our podcast. It might be one of the best. Give us 5 stars. Give us 3 stars if you think we deserve it. We'll accept it. Give us a rating, though. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Why'd you say Jim Irsay?
Did you say Colts?
Oh, I thought I said Colts. Didn't you ask me about Colts?
Colts?
We should play this at the end.